aggression, cold silence, manipulation. Have you ever come across someone with these traits? Or maybe even caught yourself acting this way? If so, chances are you have encountered narcissistic rage. It's seriously toxic and exhausting. That's why it's so crucial to understand it and figure out how to handle it, especially if you're trying to break away from it. What is narcissistic rage? Let's start with the basics of narcissism and narcissistic rage. These days, the term narcissist gets thrown around way too casually. Like, anyone who doesn't agree with us or puts themselves first gets labeled a narcissist. But the truth is, only about 6% of the world's population is actually diagnosed with narcissistic personality disorder. Paramahansa Yogananda, the well-known Hindu and American monk, once described a narcissist as someone who tries to feel taller by cutting off the heads of others. Pretty accurate, right? People with narcissistic personality disorder have this exaggerated sense of self-importance. They genuinely believe they're superior to others, and everything kind of revolves around that belief. That's also why they get angry so easily. Narcissistic rage kicks in when their ego takes a hit, when they feel threatened, criticized, or even slightly rejected. It's like their whole sense of self cracks for a second, and boom, rage. This really shows up in relationships. Say you joke with your partner, or go against what they want. It doesn't take much. If they're a narcissist, even a small thing can hurt their ego, and that's when the rage flares up. Now sure, everyone wants to feel important and might get upset when they're not. But narcissistic rage is on another level. It's intense, unpredictable, and totally over the top. It hits so hard and fast that sometimes you're left wondering, where the hell did that come from? Signs of narcissistic rage. So, to be more specific, narcissistic rage isn't just someone getting angry. The signs are a lot more intense and damaging. One major red flag is verbal attacks that are clearly meant to belittle or humiliate you. It's not just lashing out, it's calculated and cruel. They might also show really demeaning behavior towards you or anyone they see as beneath them. And you're not inferior. But in their eyes, anyone who doesn't feed their ego is a threat or just not worth basic respect. According to Dr. George K. Simon, a renowned psychologist and expert on manipulative behaviors, narcissists often play psychological games with others to make them feel inferior or as though they're in the wrong. Narcissistic rage is just one of the tactics in this game, and it's used to maintain power in the relationship and when something goes wrong. They'll never take responsibility. Instead, they twist things around and blame others for their mistakes. Even their failures somehow become your fault. They'll constantly try to convince themselves and you that they're good enough, that they're the prize in the relationship, and you're the one falling short. Over time, just dealing with that kind of attitude can leave you completely drained. Like emotionally, mentally, just done. And if you're in a relationship with someone like this, you're already carrying around one of the biggest emotional bugs of your life. That's why it's so important to recognize narcissistic rage for what it is, and not excuse it. But before we dive deeper into the details, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel, unless you don't want to set yourself free from all this chaos. Recognizing narcissistic rage. Whenever you find yourself in a fight, try to take a step back and really observe their reaction. If the emotions are overflowing and completely out of proportion, it might be a sign that you're dealing with a narcissist. With narcissists, even your calm, constructive criticism feels like a personal attack to them. They don't take feedback, they take offense. The moment they feel challenged, they lose their cool and go out of their way to humiliate you, often doing way more than whatever they think you did to them. And it's not always loud and explosive either. Sometimes it's the cold silence. The silent treatment becomes their weapon. They shut down, refuse to talk, and completely disconnect from you. Not to cool off, but to manipulate. It's their way of making you feel small, unsure, and constantly questioning yourself. Like you've done something terribly wrong, when you haven't. Now be honest. During all this, do you find yourself apologizing or feeling like you're the one to blame? If yes, that's one of the biggest red flags. It's a clear sign you might be in a relationship with a narcissist, and it's time to move on. But just be aware, narcissists crave control. So when you decide to walk away, it shakes their entire world. Their anger isn't really about love or heartbreak. It's about losing their grip on you. Don't expect sadness or genuine regret. What usually follows is rage, and if you're not careful, you could end up facing some heavy emotional or maybe physical fallout. After that big outburst and all the blame shifting, once they've got control again, things usually go back to normal. Some narcissists will act like nothing happened, like the explosion was never even a thing. Others might throw in a fake apology, or suddenly get all sweet and affectionate, just enough to reel you back in. And this is where it gets tricky. You start second-guessing yourself, wondering if maybe you overreacted, or if it wasn't really that big of a deal. Before you know it, you're back to pretending everything's fine. And just like that, the whole cycle begins again. How to protect oneself. That's why it's so important to pay attention to what's really going on and protect yourself before you get caught up in it again. But let me be clear. The process is tough and emotionally draining. But don't lose your cool trying to deal with someone else's chaos. Recognize the warning signs. First things first. Understand and don't ignore the warning signs. Narcissism is a personality disorder, and we all need to recognize that. You can't control someone else's behavior, but spotting the signs early can help you de-escalate the situation or give you the cue to remove yourself before things spiral out of control. Maintain your distance. Once you have recognized the signs, the next step is to keep your distance. Stay calm and don't let yourself get sucked into their drama. They'll look for any chance to hurt you, but your job is to stay grounded and hold on to your power. Respond in a neutral tone, showing them you get where they're coming from, but you're not going to let them hurt you. You can also use the grey rock method, which is all about being as emotionally unresponsive as possible. The idea is to remain boring and non-reactive so they realize their actions aren't affecting you. This can give them a moment to cool down and reset. Basically, the whole point here is protecting yourself. If you don't set and stick to your boundaries, the situation next time will only get worse. So, right off the bat, let them know that you won't continue the conversation if they keep yelling or being disrespectful. Trust yourself and trust the process. At the end of the day, you'll come out of it with your peace of mind still intact. Dr. Simon says it best. The key to dealing with manipulative people is understanding that their behavior is not about you, it's about their need for control. The only way to protect yourself is by being firm, clear, and consistent with your boundaries. Try the exit strategy. If staying unresponsive doesn't work, or you feel like you're starting to lose control, just use the exit strategy. It might feel blunt or even a little rude, but trust me, that's what actually works. Walking away gives the narcissist time to sit with their behavior, and when their anger is at its peak, at least you won't be there to take the hit or be belittled. Using this strategy a few times can really make them realize your value. And let me be clear, if you don't handle it in time, things can escalate into emotional, physical, or even sexual abuse. So don't wait. Dealing with it early is not just important, it's necessary. Seek professional help. Okay, this might sound like one of those textbook suggestions, but getting professional help really does make a difference. Dealing with narcissistic rage can be super isolating and emotionally exhausting. So reaching out to someone, whether it's a friend, family member, or a therapist, can give you the support you need. And if you think your partner could benefit from some kind of medical or psychological help, you can bring it up, but gently. They'll probably push back at first, which is totally expected. Most people don't like being told they need help, especially if they already feel defensive. So instead of pushing, try easing into it. Focus on the positives, like how support could actually help improve the relationship or their stress. Just keep it calm and caring, not confrontational. All in all, narcissism is a real personality disorder, and you don't have to stick around when someone isn't treating you right. It's not about you, it's about their need to control and overpower you. So either take a step back and move on, but be prepared for some backlash. Or, if you choose to, try helping them. Just know that it's not an easy path, because if nothing changes, things usually only get worse. That's it for today. If you've ever dealt with this kind of intense behavior, you're not alone. Share your story in the comments, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more insights on healing and personal growth.